Hey guys, welcome back. So today is going to be a C-3PO blog update. We're going to talk about the brand new C-3PO Belly Disk that I have 3D modeled in Fusion 360 and printed on my Prusa i3 Mark III 3D printer. This is made for multiple reasons. The first one, it is going to replace the one that is on this current torso that I'm working on. This is going to be my new suit, and I'm going to be able to chrome this probably next week, and I got to finish a few things. So one of the things was this belly disc, because you can probably see it, there's some weird issues, and there's some weird stuff in the casting, and it's a little bit warpy, and I just been dying to fix it. So I figured, initially I was going to print one of my old versions of the belly rings that I did like 6 years ago. I think I modeled these. However, I realized that my current model was based on these resin castings that I have, which are related to a real suit, so they're accurate as far as detail. However, they're multiple generations removed from the real castings, meaning that they were copied, a mold was taken, casting was made, someone took a mold of that casting, and then recast it, and then someone did the same, and who knows how many times. Now I've got a copy here, and what happens is every time you take a casting, the resin that you use shrinks a little bit. Boop. And then the next mold's taken, and that mold is smaller than the first mold, and etc., etc. So now these parts are technically a few percentage points too small. And when you put it up to this suit, which is very closely related to a real suit, it's too small. It doesn't work right. So I was like, I got to make a new model. So I have remodeled the part. And this model also actually has the outer ring you can see, which on the torso here, there's an outer ring that's part of the actual torso itself. I modeled that because I'm replacing that, and this is sort of a separate piece. I'll take it off here so we can look. So this part is going on that suit. I'm just going to fuse it right into the fiberglass. And then this piece is like, this is where the next part of the story happens. So this is going to obviously replace this disc, but I want to be able to use this when I do the Don Post 3D files that I'm working on. I'm going to use this disc because it's all clean and nice, and along with some of the other parts I showed in the previous video, like the neck and the shoulders, and all the greeblies. I'm trying to redo everything. So this will go on the Don Post suit. A few things that I'm working on is it's got like a little flange here, so when it is placed on the suit, it'll fit in. But I think I'm going to add some keys to this that interact with the 3D prints on the Don Post suit. So when I make the Don Post files printable, I will key the back so that this part fits in and it doesn't get off center. It makes it easy to place. Another thing about this that is kind of maybe interesting to some of you is this piece is separate. So you can see there's a hole there. And now I've got this little guy in the middle, which is also used in the back of the head. So for the Don Post head, this will also fit. I may add a flange for that piece, but I've made two versions. They look basically the same, but this one's printed as one piece, just prints off the printer just like this. And this one is two parts. So we have the outer little triangle openings, and then the center piece, which pops through the back. So you can see the inside's got some like nice little bevels and chamfers, and so it lines up really nice, like that. The reason for this is that, one, it prints a little easier because since this front is flat, I can just set this piece on the printer, and then set this piece like this, and they print so this front side is nice and clean. I like that. Also, if you're wearing this as a costume and you want to put a microphone and a speaker system inside, usually a good place for the speaker is right here in the middle. I figured being able to print this different ways could be good for experimenting with the sound of the costume. It sounds a little crazy, but if you watch my channel, you understand that I have problems and I have to do this over and over until I am happy. So basically, this all goes together like this. It pressure fits real nice, and one of these surface transducers, like I was experimenting with a few months ago, can fit basically perfectly in this little nook here, minus this dumb thing I'm going to have to take off of the transducer. This doesn't need to be on the transducer, by the way. I'm going to cut this off and reattach this somewhere different, but the actual transducer itself will fit into the space just perfectly. So it makes a very, very low profile speaker setup inside the costume that doesn't interfere with much, doesn't stick out really far and get uncomfortable. So I think that'll be nice. But if you don't want to use a surface transducer and you want to use a regular speaker, you could always take this out and then you could put in, you know, a perforated plastic piece back inside here as opposed to this solid ring, or maybe even like a thin plastic, or who knows, some kind of screen. There's a lot of options, and that way if you have a speaker, this isn't impeding the sound. There's so many options here. With the surface transducer, it might actually be better to just print all this as one piece. Just go ahead and print the whole disc with the piece already just as one print to eliminate any spots for vibration. So that's something I'm just thinking about now. However, okay, more randomness here. Another reason that I wanted to print this, look at those weird lines. See that in the light? It's just the direction of the printer catches the reflections a little differently, but there's nothing really there. In person, you don't even notice it. It shows up on camera like crazy. Sorry for the aside there. Another reason I want to print this with this separate is that if this piece is keyed into the costume so that it's nice and centered, this little part here, someone may want to flip this over, because in the new films, The Force Awakens and Last Jedi and all this stuff, in The New Hope, the thing is centered this way, and in all the other films it is like this. So depending on how you want the suit set up or the costume, it could be moved around accordingly to whatever the user wants. So anyway, that's it. Just a look at this belly disc and the thing. I'm going to post these on Thingiverse soon-ish. I want to do a few more adjustments, and I'll put them up there. Feel free to grab them. And if you have any suggestions of things I should do to these, if you're working on your own C-3PO or your 3D prints for the Don Post suits or anything, if there's anything that you have in mind that you think I should add to this or take away or whatever, let me know, and I will be sure to maybe include those in the next versions. I don't know. These are, again, work in progress. I kind of like it. Overall, all this is very accurate to scale and everything, and it looks very nice, so could be good. Yeah, keep me posted. Let me know what you think, and then I'll be back again soon. Talk to you guys in a bit. Later!